Okay, here we go. Okay, guys, welcome to Grue, and thank you for taking time and coming on. I greatly appreciate it. So thank you.
Hey man, thanks for having
Yeah,
us.
good to be here.
We get to all three be together. Fun.
I know exactly. That's great. So the first question I have is actually for Kevin. Is when you first started out, you actually wrestled with boots on. When did you decide that you wanted to wrestle without boots?
When did you decide you wanted to wrestle without boots? Because you started off in boots.
Man, that's an easy one because, I've heard these rumors that guys took my boots and played trick, which they did, we were always playing jokes on each other, but once I wrestled without them, when you wrestle, a long time, you really get a lot of sweat and it runs down into your socks and into those leather boots, and it's really heavy. And we have knee surgeries or a lot of, or bad knees like I did. Then I wanted to try to keep my knees out of the way there. And one way I could take care of them better was to get those boots off, because that weight there, it would really jiggle them, but once I took them off, man, I felt like I could fly, And so once my knees got better, I just left the boots off because it was just felt great, man. Made wrestling fun.
Nice, nice. And for the second question for Marshall and Kevin, like when you wrestle barefoot, the is it ever hard? Like, do you is it ever hard to wrestle without shoes on and walk down the aisle?
We all have real tough feet just because my dad, his whole life, it wasn't a gimmick. He was barefoot everywhere he went. And so
My sons too.
yeah, us as his boys, we followed him. We saw what dad was doing. We took our shoes off, and this isn't a gimmick. My feet are like hooves. They look like they're made out of wood. They're not the cleanest things ever because my calluses are just so thick and or whatever.
I know.
But they become a weapon, because when you're barefoot, you feel where the ground is. Your balance is just. I feel a lot more aware when I'm barefoot.
And another thing, who says that people have to wear shoes? Why do you
Right,
need a
exactly.
time with feet in? I want to feel the ground. I want to feel if it's moist, if it's dry, if it's hard. I don't know. I can just feel way better barefoot. I can't believe more people don't. I'll tell you this too. My feet are strong. I can write my name with my foot. I mean,
He's a
I
monkey.
can use my foot,
He grabs remotes.
It's handcuffs,
Yeah.
foot cuffs,
Yeah.
Oh wow.
You mean foot cuffs? Yeah. Yeah.
And Ross and Marshall, like this sport has been in your blood since you were born. Like when did you know that you both wanted to do it?
Man, it would probably be probably after our trip to Japan when we were young boys down there. We had a few matches, and we had a bunch of back and forths, but there was a series of events that led to, okay, this is our calling. We're going to stick to this thing.
Yeah.
And once we made that decision, we really never looked back. We just wanted to be, we owed it to each other and to ourselves and to our family just to give it everything we got.
And growing up, we always wanted to be like dad. We grew up in locker rooms. We were around the environment all the time, so it's all we know. And then getting into it, went to Harley Race's school, and I would love to say it just felt so natural that we're supposed to be there, but it didn't. It was hard, and it was naturally sports came easier to us, football and track and things like that. And we both couldn't stand not being good at something, and like, man, this is in our blood. We should be great at this. But going to Japan was the best thing that ever happened to us. We were there, and it was 3 months of just intense training, and then we came home for a few days, and then back for 3 months, and so it was we just submerged our lives in wrestling. And my dad said, if y'all want to do this, then I don't want to. People are gonna think that you're gonna have it easy because of your name. So I want to send you to the Wolves, and he sent us to Japan, where it's the hardest. It's the lifestyle is just live, breathe wrestling. And he knew that if we came back from that and still wanted to do it, then okay, we actually have something in us that wants to do it. Because there's a lot of wrestlers that would leave or whatever. Japan can be nuts. It's heavy. Okay, it can be a lot for a lot of people. But I had my brother, and I couldn't have done it without my brother, I don't think.
Wow. Okay. And the next question is for Kevin. When I was a kid, like I always grew up watching WCCW, and two of my favorite heels was always the Missing Link and the Great Kabuki. And what was it like working the both of them? And do you have any stories about the Great Kabuki and Missing Link?
Oh man. Well, about the Missing Link, I like to say nice things about people, but it's kind of hard. I'll tell you, Missing Link was one of a kind, really. He was like he was built like a rock, but he was, I think he had like stage fright or something, because he was like panicked in that ring. He was like a mad dog, really. It's like he was one of the hardest guys to wrestle. I mean, you could wrestle him, but you'd have to like get him in a hold, because he'd get loose and you don't know what he's going to do, I mean, you could never really prepare for a match with Missing Link.
And then Kabuki broke your cheekbone, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Cheekbone's hard to break.
You never turn your back on your opponent, and I remember Kabuki really lit me up, but especially, I gave him a turnbuckle one time, and when I would turnbuckle a wrestler, I'd like to come shooting in with a knee, so before he can get his breath, I've got him knock his breath out again, and he came up with that super kick and just took my head off coming to that corner, and so from then on, I was kind of not so fast to shoot into that corner if I hit him, because he'd spin around and get that foot up in my face quick.
That's how you learn as a wrestler. But I watched that the video of that match, and as the foot went in Dad's face, his feet were still running. Yeah. They're still running.
He got lawn chair.
Yeah, he got lawn chair big time.
Lawn chair.
I always wondered what was in that miss, the Great Kabuki miss, because that started Muda and everybody.
I think it was dragon sauce or something.
Yeah, I don't know
when I was a kid, he told me it stung really bad. It would sting his skin.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. Maybe, but I know it did sting, or it would sting.
Only in pro wrestling there could be a foreign substance like that, and nobody ever even take the time to try to figure out what it is.
Yeah.
I also had some real nice ring jackets, and it sure did ruin like 3 of them.
Yeah.
All my ring jackets were velvet,
You'd think there'd be some kind of like regulation, like you would have to put that juice through something or get tested or something. Yeah. No, you're good. He's from Japan. It's okay.
And for Ross and Marshall, like, are there any teams that you would love to get in the ring with?
Oh heck yeah, man! So since we've been over at doing stuff at AEW, just getting to feel the locker room and stuff, FTR has been on the radar for a long time for us. That looks like it's just going to be a fun match, and I think no matter what, win or lose, we're going to come out stronger and better from it. And then a dream match that we got to actually have was with the Briscoe brothers. Working with another set of brothers is always interesting, just because when you're working with a tag team that has been put together, it's I don't know, you can tell that there's a language my brother and I have that we don't have to speak, that we know where the other one, we know what the other one's thinking, and so we have good chemistry together. But working with the Briscoes, they had that too, and so it was honestly in the locker room before, we didn't talk very much, because we just wanted, after the match we'll be buddies and friends, hopefully. But after the match they were 2 brothers. They said a prayer with us. We love those guys. Yeah, the Briscoes that was one of the funnest tag matches I think we've had in our careers.
Yeah, it's hard to find a team that has the symmetric moves like brothers do. You may have, every now and then you'll see a couple of a tag team where the guys have worked together, like maybe they'll kind of have that, but not like brothers. It's something else. It's almost like unfair. My brothers and I, when we had tag team matches, we knew everything the guy was going to do. We didn't have to say a word, just look at each other. It's a brother thing.
Nice. And Kevin, like the next question is for you. Like, you and Kerry, you did a lot of tag bouts, like you were saying, and one of the tag matches that you had was a dream match with you and Kerry against Hawk and Animal, the Road Warriors. How was that match like for you?
Man, those guys are rough. They're just like, you know, it's pretty much typical. When you've been in the business a while, things like that happen, you know, like some guy, you build a name for yourself, you know, and you kind of ride on it a while, and then somebody else is building a name for themselves in another town, and pretty soon you're going to bump into each other, and it's going to happen, you know, and that's the way it was with those guys. We really had a great time. Kerry and I, you know, we love tag team wrestling. I don't think we ever found a tag team that were better than we were. I don't think we ever did see one. We had the tag team titles.
Yeah, that was All Japan was they have the 6-man titles. That's what Ross and I wanted to find a third guy to compete, maybe Hunter Hayes or something, but compete with the 6-man titles because you didn't you and Uncle Kerry and Uncle Dave
2-man titles, so they didn't have 3 months.
Oh yeah, they didn't have those.
Not
So
when we were
what was
about
we
that,
talking
no.
about? We had a promoter that told us that you guys won the 6-man in All Japan.
Oh, wait a minute. I think we took Muto as a partner.
Maybe
We had
okay.
Muto as a partner. Muto's an old friend of mine, you know, and he's a Black Ninja, you know, but he's a great guy. And I sent my sons back to Japan a while back because he taught my sons some polishing things, you know.
He took real good care of us,
yeah,
man.
I really admire the guy. He's a good friend.
And it felt being in Japan, I was only 18 at the time, and so it felt like his English. He spoke enough English because no one else really spoke English, and so just having someone to talk to, it felt like we had a dad down there. So it was pretty cool because we were as young as we were.
Yeah.
Wow. And what the match that I watch on AEW, like you had a tag match and Kevin was there too. And what was it like having Kevin there for you at ringside, and for Kevin, like what's it like to watch your sons wrestle?
Anytime my dad comes with us, we just know it's just going to be a great memory and a great time. We as a family, we all like to live in the moment, and so life is about moments, you know, and so that's the most important thing to us, and so we're not really. When we're in the ring together, we're trying to make it last as long as it can, and just enjoy being there together. The same thing when for his retirement match in Israel, all 3 being in the ring at the same time was it's like it's too much to take in at one night. You know, I think after like 2 or 3 months went by, seeing pictures of it pop up, like I can't believe that happened. I can't believe that all that really happened. You don't really absorb it when it first happened.
We've had a few of them, but now we can tell when we're out there, like this is one of those times we're going to look back on and remember, you know, that it was good.
Yeah.
So that was another one of those. And it was awesome. You know, AEW allowed that, you know, us to make that happen. That was just.
And in wrestling, my brother and I, we wrestled in a lot of different countries, and you know, it's crazy. You can go to a place so far on the other side of the earth, be homesick, but when you get into a locker room, it smells the same as every locker room. It was like icy hot, and you know, Axe and dude, tape, and just all locker rooms smell the same, and so.
Cigar.
And so you get into a locker room environment, and you kind of have that. Okay, I'm where I'm supposed to be, and then seeing Dad in the crowd was like, okay, man, this is easy. This is great.
You know, when I first started out, one of those smells was a cigar too. All the smoke.
Nowadays,
not so much.
Now. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that changed.
There were times everybody smoked back then, you know, and there were times I really couldn't see the ring when I came out of the dressing room. It was just gray, you know.
Yeah.
After all those times, think of this. They talked about how dangerous secondhand smoke was when I don't smoke, but I still think that when someone is a guest in my home, if they smoke, I'll have an ashtray in the room, you know, because we're tolerant people, you know, to say, I don't want to smell your pollutant, you know, come on. We're brothers, we're neighbors, we care about each other. And so I can't believe that they've taken so many rights away from people. I don't like to drive my car with a seatbelt. I don't like to drive my motorcycle with a helmet. And so I don't like a rule that says I have to either.
And don't get me started.
Hurry, change the topic.
Don't get me started on electric cars. I mean,
And Kevin, like, what do you think your most violent feud was? Was it Bruiser Brody or Gentleman Chris Adams?
your most violent feud, Bruiser Brody or Chris Adams? I would think Chris Adams.
Most violent?
Your most violent. You and Chris Adams beat the crap out of each other.
Oh, well, you know, I had some violent matches with One Man Gang, had some violent matches with Big John Studd. He was John Menton, a basketball player at Indiana. He was one of my best friends too, but we'd get in the ring and just kill each other.
Did you have any good matches with Brody? Huh? Did you have any rugged matches with Brody?
A lot with Brody. Brody was the one that really taught us how to wrestle rough style, you know, because Brody could get in there and go. And Brody was like a brother to us, you know, grew up with us, and we were lifted weights with him. And we'd, you know, even roomed together, you know, it was just traveled a lot together. And we learned a lot from Frank. He was a good man. And so when I start naming wrestlers, that I did it for like over 20 years, and so I'm leaving out too many good men.
Out of those two,
yeah, he said out of those two, out of Chris Adams and Brody, who would you say was the roughest?
You know, Brody was rougher because he was so strong, but Chris was a lot meaner. Chris was like
he had a temper.
We come up with that. He had an evil mind.
And my dad said his eyes would change. A lot of wrestlers say when he would get mad, his eyes would change.
His eyes would turn red, like a cow, bull, or something. You know?
Oh my God, that's crazy. And for Ross and Marshall, like how was, like, before you guys went to AEW, you were in MLLW. How was your time like there in MLW?
MLW was awesome, and Court Bauer, everybody over there, it was just a great locker room family environment. We got to wrestle a ton of generational wrestlers, which was really cool for us. We made a lot of lifelong friends, and it's cool seeing the kind of our class when we got there. See, you know, Alex Hammerstone is at TNA now, and Brian Pillman's at WWE or NXT now, and then MJF. I'm not really sure where he's going, but yeah, those are kind of the guys that we were all in the same class with at MLW, and it's I'll always be thankful for MLW and everything they did for us. It was just a great experience, and you know, who knows, we could always come back and go for those belts again. I don't know. I don't know if they still are, but we were the longest reigning tag team champions at MLW.
Yeah.
On Wikipedia, I don't know. Yeah, you Wikipedia, maybe it's still like that. I don't know. COVID helped us a little bit.
Yeah. And Kevin, like, being in this sport, like, there's a lot of good and there's also a lot of bad. So you were one of the few that didn't fall into that bad trap, you know, that wrestlers go down, of drugs and alcohol and suicides and everything. Like, how did you avoid, like, going down that path?
How do you avoid going down that dark path that most wrestlers go, like the drugs, the suicide? What was your foundation?
I have God with me. I've been a Christian since I was young, really young. I raised my boys that way too. And I want to tell you, you know, that you have to remember your body is your temple. You know, your body is God's spirit is in each man. You know, and you can benefit from that as much as you understand it. You know, I don't want to beat anybody over the head, but I know I learned a lot, you know, from my rocky road. And I'll tell you this, when you wrestle every night and you drink beer after that show, you drink a bunch of beer and get drunk, getting drunk is not good for you, and God has just protected me in the way that I don't like the taste of beer, really. I don't like the taste of mixed drinks either, and I hate wine. I mean, the more expensive wine is, the worse it tastes. If I'm going to drink wine, I want it tastes like a grape,
And we're all lightweight, so it's embarrassing. We'll have one beer and people think we're taking shots. We're lightweight. So
Anything help you too, right?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. So, I've got a wife, and I've got, people that I'm accountable for. I don't just come home after doing whatever I want on the road. Having when I was a kid, it was all about fun. I wanted to have as much fun as I could force into the day. But then when you get married and you have children,
fun packs and stuff.
You look at the world differently. It's about discipline yourself.
Yeah.
You put away childish things.
I think it's normal for every married man. Is fun will pack its stuff and move out. Some fun.
And the one question I have to ask that people want to know is the movie The Iron Claw. How much of it was real and how much of it was made for Hollywood?
A lot of it was made for Hollywood,
Yeah.
but I mean they got the important stuff. Chronologically, there was like a lot of like placement, or where the timeline was a little weird, and then some of the stories weren't weird. Like, it was still a great movie and a great story, but yeah, the director was using his personal experiences and things like that.
It's in the same vein as he had a really tough job. There was a lot of tragedy that they had to get around and to cram it into a 2-hour movie. But the main point was that we were raised rough. Our father was raised rough when he was a kid, and born in 1929 in the Depression, and in Texas, life is rough, boys, we're the ones that raise the cattle, we that build the fence, we build the roads, in Texas, boys have to learn a lot of stuff, how to read a compass, with the wind, the sun comes up in the east, goes down in the west. It's a really simple life, but it's work every day, and a father, make sure your boys don't get lazy or whatever, and so he kicked our butts when we had it coming, and so we knew if we got caught doing something wrong, that the butt kicking we got would be severe, and it was, and so that's life. I think it's one thing for little girls to come up smelling flowers and picking fruit and singing and making up poems and all that. But for a little boy, life's different. We're going to grow into men, into fathers and grandfathers, and we have to raise our sons too. And you want your son to be happy, to have all the things he needs, and to be a hard worker. Because if you take the lazy route, then you'll get the loser's pay. I mean, when you take the hard route, then you'll get the reward. And so that's what I've taught my sons, because that's what I've learned through my life. Pretty much learned from my dad.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I love my dad so much, and all brothers did. So the movie makes Fritz look pretty bad, but he wasn't that way. We were a really loving family. And I'll tell you something about my mom too. My mom would have never said, talk to your brothers. That's what they're for. Like,
Mimi was a counselor. Our grandmother was the greatest counselor ever. Therapist. She was a family therapist. She would talk to each person. We got to have her in high school and stuff. So it was going to Mimi for counseling was great. We called her Mimi.
Yeah. I was brother in school, and so when my brothers got picked on, so my dad was on wrestling every Saturday night, beating up good guys, and so there was a lot of trouble in school. And so my brothers got beat up or something, then I would do my best to beat that guy up, and it meant for a lot of fighting, but for me, it meant a lot of getting my ass kicked, a lot of fights, but it's like, yeah, every time you lose, you learn more than when you win. When you win, you don't learn much. You get a pat on the back. When you lose, you think, I'm never going to do that again.
That's true.
Yeah, you're right. And what kind of food do you like to eat? Like the three of you, like do you have any special diet? Do you eat whatever you want?
Favorite food. Last night we just had some of the best sushi in San Antonio. We all love sushi, and so we
Nice.
destroyed. Yeah, I think we all got like 4 or 5 rolls.
It was a whole bait shop full of fish is what we had.
Yeah, we ate so much. The waiter couldn't believe how much food we're putting on the table, but we put it all down, so it was good.
Yeah.
I didn't have to eat breakfast this morning. I'm still full. Yeah.
I had this strange thing when I was a kid growing up. I never did eat regular meals, like I would I'd eat real big for maybe a couple of days, and then I would not eat for a few days,
Yeah, we're
and
like
so
that
might not be a good habit, but my sons are the same way, and it kind of.
I'll go through stints like that where I can't eat I just have no appetite, almost like queasy thinking about food for like a day or two. And then on the third day, I'll just get hungry again.
Eat like a lion, eat like.
Yeah, so it looks like we're
10
fasting,
pounds.
but really it's my body's just not hungry. I kind of listen to my body a little bit.
Wow.
He's the one who gave us these weird genetics, man. I don't know. It's his fault.
Yeah.
My dad's fault.
So it's his dad's fault. So maybe Fritz wasn't. I don't know.
And if you three were gonna do a karaoke song, what do you think you would sing?
Karaoke song? If we're gonna do a karaoke song.
We're good.
Well, I mean, my dad loves anything from Cyndi Lauper, so
he does a great Janis Joplin.
he does a great. Come on, Dad, give us a song. No, please don't. Once he starts, he won't stop. We all love rock and roll, so and we listen to music all the time. I don't know, something that's not a setting we would put ourselves into because Von Erichs can't dance, we can't sing.
Okay, I'm just gonna say the Titanic theme. We'd do great at that.
Yeah, when we were
Speak for
kids,
yourself.
our home was like, and their home too. I mean, this is the way I was raised. We thought Vince Lombardi was great. Everything we did was like for athletics. I mean, we push each other and say, "Are you quitting? You're not thinking about quitting, are you?" "No, I'm not." Make them fight. It was all like a military athletic home. That's all. Everything was Vince Lombardi quotes on the walls, and everything was never quit. Keep. All you could, every. It's hard to say, but. That's just how we were because we never had sisters and we were born way out in the country and we never had really neighbors when we went to school. And so this is just a normal life for us. And the only way I know to raise my sons too, it's like, if you want to be successful, you pay the price. And that's what it's really all about. So we're driving in the car, me, Dave, and Carrie, and we had Mike with us. And Nautilus gems had just started coming out. And so we wanted to try the Nautilus machines. We had to drive to Dallas to find them. And so I was driving, I was telling my brothers about you never quit, you never give up, you always take the hard road, never the easy road. And, I always talk like that to them. And so Mike and Chris were in the back and Dave was in the front with me. And Kerry said, "Hey, Kev, Mike just told me he likes smooth roads." And I said, "Well," and said, "I like rough roads, like, roads with lots of potholes."
Like he's so tough, he likes rough roads.
How tough he is. I said, "Well, Kerry, I like smooth roads too." And he goes, so Kerry said, "Oh, yeah, I guess I do too."
The car and everybody's bouncing left and right. It's a bumpy road.
Yeah.
And my Uncle Mike complained. So Uncle Kerry made fun of him.
Well, he was telling me he's so tough that he'd rather feel a rough road than a smooth one.
Yeah.
Only a sissy smooth road.
Yeah. And the last question I will ask you is: this weekend, you're going to be in New York for an autograph signing, a meet and greet. Are you looking forward to meeting the fans and being there?
Heck yeah. Like I said before, anything we do together is just fun. And so we're actually, right after this interview, we got a car will be here in about 25 minutes. We're gonna have to get ready and go, but we can't wait to be in New York. It's gonna be so fun, all three together. I'm sure we're gonna get some good food while we're out there. And I'm excited. I can't wait.
We're gonna have a great time because we're about to leave for New York, but no one has to wrestle. We're just doing autographs.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. That's weird that
But I do want to say this: on March 29th, I'm gonna appear at the Fort Worth Will Rogers Auditorium, where I used to wrestle every week.
Wow.
And we're gonna have a great crowd, and I want to invite everybody. Like, if you don't live in Fort Worth, then start driving soon, because it's gonna be a great time on the 29th. I don't have any hard feelings about the movie. I want people to enjoy it, but there's a lot of stuff I want to say to my fellow fans out there. To come on Will Rogers Coliseum, Will Rogers Auditorium on March 29th, and I'll
set
see
the
you there.
record straight.
Yeah, set the record straight. Kevin Von Erich shoots. But no, I was gonna say too is we've gone to a couple of his shows, and I didn't really know what to expect. I was like, man, you got to talk for 2 or 3 hours. It was the most fun, and we're backstage and we're just rolling around laughing so hard. This guy really is so funny. I think stand-up comedy would have been in the books for him for sure if wrestling didn't work out.
Well, I have David Manning with me too. He was the referee for us.
That's a comedian.
He's funny. But we come up with so many memories from the road. I mean, they're so funny. The people were rolling on the floor, man. It was like the show was over like in a couple hours, and the people wanted another hour. I thought it would be fun.
I know, it was fun. I can't wait to go to them either. If we're not wrestling, we want to try to be at every show.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Nice. And where could fans follow you all at? Like, where could they get like the news and the updates and all that stuff?
You can follow us all on Twitter at Marshall Von Erich, at Ross Von Erich. My dad's Twitter is actually down, but he is on Instagram at the official, the real Kevin Von Erich. And then we share an Instagram, Ross and I do, at Ram Von Erich. And then we have shirts on ProWrestlingTees.com, and then also with SPLX, we just partnered with them, and so that was a big deal for my brother and I. We've always been big fans, and so. Yeah, they just made a really cool Von Erich shirt.
Yeah, I was on Twitter for a while, but they kicked me off because I had an opinion that they didn't agree with. It was about.
I know they're kicking everybody.
It could have been anything.
I know, and they've kicking so many people off. But I do miss his Twitter. A lot of people liked it, and he was talking to a lot of people on Messenger. A lot of it was interesting how many people he was talking to, but he can't get it back.
My fans. I really enjoyed talking to the people, and I thought it was a lot of fun, And so it's too bad.
We've got to work on getting that back.
Yeah.
Or now it's called X, not
maybe.
Twitter.
Yeah.
X, yeah. Well, guys, thanks so much for coming on. And I'm actually going to be one of the people that are going to the meet and greet. So I'll definitely come up to your table this weekend and say hi.
Sounds good.
Looking forward to it.
Looking forward to it.
All right, guys. Thanks again.
All right, man. You have a good one.
All right, you too.